Farming, many look at it as an activity not worth investing in resources. It is perceived not to be paying well enough, and yet it is a food basket, feeding millions over the world. For Kathy Baguma Mugabe, a master's degree student in mass communication, her academic career in journalism could not supersede her passion in the trade many think is not lucrative enough. She took time and now explains how it all started.
I started this as passion, really. When we were planting the cassava and the potatoes, I never thought at any one point that we were going to make money from this cassava. I wanted to, be able to give some to the community, some for my home consumption, and maybe a little for sale. But as it turns out, when this broke out, when COVID, because people they wanted food, they would post, who has this one? I said, what? Let me use this chance.
According to Kathy, passion is key for this line of business. It does not require one to acquire chunks of land and expensive equipment to set up. It only takes the determination with the little at hand to get moving.
Farming, I must say, it's a good thing. For me, it has been a learning process that we shouldn't undermine humble beginnings. Because the gardens, as you've seen, they are not really on big chunks, pieces of land. No, we're talking about an acre, we're talking about 2 acres, 50 by 100, and you have mega harvest. So if that is going, and most people say that I'm not going to plant cassava because I'm not going to eat cassava alone. You don't need to eat it. Take it, sell it, buy a packet of detergent, of soap, or something that you don't have.
In her calculations of earnings from the sales, she explains what each cassava plant fetches her.
You will see that the cassava, each plant produces about average like 7 big pieces of cassava. So each plant, when I calculate how I measure this cassava, it will give me roughly 20,000 per plant. So the profit is there, and you're able to reinvest. You're able to reinvest this money into something else. The reason I don't have a very huge garden of cassava is that I decided to plant different things, not only cassava. So matoke, potatoes, sweet potatoes, cassava, green pepper, so that you have a bit of each. If they don't buy it, you will consume it yourself. Why do you have to buy food when you can plant it yourself? Then when you reach the time, you can go commercial and expand.
As she grapples with the reinvestments, Kathy cites some challenges in certain areas, such as irrigation.
We walk distances, deep down, to get water to irrigate most of these crops. And that's very challenging, because carrying water and, So honestly, I think that the farming sector, it needs a boost. Not only for big farmers who have, ranches and, large scale, but even for small farmers. Because from this farm, we have been able to feed. In this pandemic, we have fed communities. We have donated food to different people, So I really think that we need a boost. Farmers, even small scale. When you boost the small scale, then they feed the communities. Because the other big scale, most times, is for either export or it doesn't come back to the communities. So I find that small scale farmers, when they are boosted and they do what we call intensive farming, it can be of help.
She says managing human resource is an important ingredient to succeeding in the farming business.
The workers at the farm pay themselves. That's the arrangement I have with them. So they sell some of the food to the neighboring, they pay themselves. They buy the things that are needed. They buy the tools, they buy, So we have an understanding which is manageable.